The old wives' tales might be true. If you feel sluggish or under the weather when the temperature starts to drop, there is a scientific reason for it. New research from the University of Waterloo and Western Sydney University point out the direct connection between temperature changes and the effect it has on our health when the temperature drops below zero. I'm so excited for this interview. For a closer look this morning, we're joined by Brian Dixon, biology professor at the University of Waterloo. Good morning. First of all, how are you feeling? Are you in good health?
I feel fine, thank you.
Good, you and me both, knock wood. Listen, whenever seasons change, we often hear of colds starting to go around, colds and flus. Why are we more susceptible to cold and flu in the wintertime?
Well, the research was on fish, frogs, wombats, everything, and we looked at commonalities. And one of the commonalities is in the colder temperatures, your immune system tends to be a little bit impaired. So already you're sort of at a disadvantage to viruses in the cold. Also, the colder air gets in your nose and it decreases the local temperature, so the virus gets a foothold there.
Oh, explain that more to me. So tell me, what goes in my nose?
Viral particles. So you breathe in the viruses, right? We went through that with COVID. But in the cold air, the air in your nose is colder. It reduces the temperature inside your nose, and then it's a more amenable environment for the viruses, and your immune system's a little impaired.
So when your mother and your grandmother and your old aunties are like, put on a scarf and cover your face, there's a reason for that.
There's absolutely a reason for that, yes. I mean, in extreme versions for hibernating animals and fish at low temperatures, their whole system that makes antibodies turns off. So they're especially impaired. But for humans also, you know, in the cold you get stressed, the air is drier in the winter, it sort of dries your skin, and your skin is your biggest immune organ. It keeps things out. So cold does have effects that will lead to more disease.
Yeah, I found this piece of the research fascinating as well. When your skin is dry, so it cracks open, so then there's more openings. Am I understanding that correct? More places for viruses to get in.
Correct. 90% of viruses and bacteria are dealt with by your skin or your innate immune system, the one that's always there. If you have a cut, obviously you have to disinfect that, but that's one of the ways that viruses get in. So dry skin will crack.
So when my mom told me, put on a scarf, wear your gloves, get on a hat, she was right.
Absolutely correct.
Sorry, Mom.
And the colder temperature also stresses a little, and stress is also known to turn off your immune response, right? It's fight or flight. You want to divert your energy to surviving, so you don't want to have an immune response right away. So again, stress also leads to depressed immune systems.
Okay, cold weather and viruses and bacteria, none of this is new. Why haven't we evolved enough to be able to finally fight off colds before they take us down?
Well, evolution is a tricky thing, but you know, our generation span is measured in decades. Viruses and bacteria reproduce every 24 to 48 hours, so they can evolve much quicker, and they do evolve around our immune defenses very quickly. That's why we have to change the flu virus every year. The virus is evolving. We have to change the vaccine. Yeah. You have to change the vaccine every year to adapt to the evolving viruses.
Well, speaking of, this year's flu season has spiked. We're seeing more children and adolescents test positive for influenza. Why do some viruses seem to target young people, or is this more about habit than age?
Well, no, younger people don't have a fully developed immune system, particularly under 5 years old. They haven't been exposed to everything, so they don't have antibodies against everything. Teenagers tend to get affected because they tend to be a group that's not vaccinated or haven't been exposed to the virus yet. And elderly people are susceptible too. Their immune system is starting to get a little bit old, and you don't remember the pathogens as well. So flus do target younger people and older people, definitely. Yeah,
well, going by your previous research, also my teenagers don't wear anything in the wintertime, including a coat. So that's part of the problem, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, your research also covers the impact that climate change is going to have on the health of certain animal species and biodiversity. But what about us humans? How will climate change dictate how often or how little we get sick?
Well, it will change the types of pathogens that we're exposed to. If the temperature's warming, animals will migrate to an optimal temperature, particularly in North America, say they will move north. And we've seen an increase in diseases like Lyme disease carried by deer, or even mosquito-borne diseases. If the mosquitoes can live longer or they can migrate north, they can bring diseases. Dengue virus is particularly frequent these days because of mosquito migration. So it will change the nature of pathogens we see due to animals migrating in response to the changing temperatures.
So then what are the best ways to prevent getting sick this season?
Well, again, wrap up, stay warm, stay hydrated, and get your vaccines. Absolutely.
Brian Dixon, biology professor at the University of Waterloo. You've given us much to discuss in the commercial break and beyond. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.